Do me for hold this L.
Hold this L.
Hold this L.
Welcome to Hold This L with your host Lonnie and Cappel. Welcome in the end the new year. How you doing, cuz? What's going on?
Bro, excited, ready for a new year, ready to for a lot of change. Hopefully, got a lot of big things planned for 2021. Ready to make this money in fantasy. Ready to excited about basketball. You know, football getting into the playoffs. Man, there's a lot of exciting things going on starting 2021. How about you?
Man, I'm good. I mean, it's 2021. It still feel like a little bit like 2020. I made a post on Facebook saying yesterday, I said, remember this day, December 37th, 2020. Because they had the riots and stuff at the Capitol building. I'm like, that's some 2020 shit right there. So,
Yeah.
I was like, it's December 37th. It ain't January. It ain't January 6th. It's December 37th, 2020. I said 2020 trying to hang on like Trump. But but nah, this year gonna be much better. 2021 is gonna be much better. I hope so. Gotta leave behind 2020. But so far so good. It's only like 7 days into the year, and I'm enjoying what's happening so far, especially with this fantasy. But yeah, I'm ready to get it popping, man. Ready to get talk about some sports. We had a couple of weeks off. We probably should have announced it, so we do apologize for those that have been looking for episodes the last 2 weeks, and we didn't produce anything. We wanted to take a break. We human, and we need a break too. So we took a little Christmas holiday vacation, New Year's vacation, but now we back in full effect. We thick in the basketball season. We thick in playoffs, not in playoffs, but NFL playoffs is about to start. And but before we get to that, we got an exciting game coming up on Monday. The college football final is set. They had the playoff matches last week, and looking forward to a great matchup between Alabama versus Ohio State. So let's jump into that because that's going to be a juicy matchup. So what's your thoughts on this game, man?
Man, I think Alabama is going to annihilate Ohio State. That is what I think. But needless to say, I thought Clemson was going to beat Ohio State too. So I don't know how much merit you want to put into what I feel about Alabama. But I do know one thing for 100% fact. Justin Fields is not going into this game 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who saw that shot against Clemson, he is not going to be 100% in a couple of weeks. It's just not possible. I'm sure he's going to take a shot or whatever they got to do to get him ready for the game. But against that Alabama defense and that offense was potent, bro. It's the reason they got the Heisman Trophy winner. It's been a long time since a wide receiver won the Heisman. And with that being said, the dude is a beast, and I just don't see Ohio State being able to keep up with him and put the pressure on Matt Jones that they're going to need to be able to slow down Alabama. And I just don't think they can score with him, not with Justin Fields not being 100%.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying about him not being 100%, and but it really don't matter. He could be 200%, and they still gonna get whooped by Alabama. Like they just gotta win. That's it. And there's nothing that you can say to me to make convince me that Ohio State has a chance. They have to win, and then I'll say, okay, yeah, they're good. They beat on Alabama. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can say to me. Alabama is different. Alabama is different. You look at somebody like Devontae Smith, who people probably don't realize this because everybody just don't really follow sports as closely as we do. But Devontae Smith is the number two receiver on that team. You know, he's not the number one. You know, he's not the number one receiver. He came number one by default. Now it don't mean that he wasn't a number one receiver, but he wasn't the main guy going into this year. So but you see what he was able to do. He is a beat. He can't be stopped. There's nobody on Ohio State's defense that's gonna stop him. Ohio State's got a good team. Justin Fields, excellent quarterback. He's gonna be one of the top QB callers name called in the draft. And we're gonna talk about that in just a second. But he got some good running backs. He got some good receivers. Olave is a good receiver. But it doesn't matter. I just I like to be objective in these situations and talk about what a certain team can do to win, even though they're the underdog. I don't think there's anything that Ohio State can do. You know, when we talk next week about this, if Ohio State win, I will gladly eat my words and apologize. But hey, I don't. Other than that, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this game. It's just that simple.
Yeah,
Alabama, that's a wrap.
yeah, man. I think Trey Sermon for Ohio State can possibly make a difference. Dude was nice. He impressed me last week, but like you say, when it comes down to it, I don't think they have enough to do anything with Alabama. Alabama, I don't see it even being close.
Yeah.
Hopefully, with the talent Ohio State got, they can make it a game, but I don't see them beating Alabama whatsoever.
Nah, me neither. But there was an interesting transgression that came about, if that's the right word. But something interesting happened in the Clemson Ohio State game. An interesting discussion came about, and that discussion is in reference to who is really the number one quarterback and who should be taken number one in the draft. You know, for the last 2 years, everybody's been saying Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in the league, and he's hands down going to be taken with the number one pick in the draft when it's his time to be eligible. And that was said all the way up until last week.
Right.
Not This is not the first time he's been completely outdueled by a quarterback. It happened last year with Joe Burrow. If he would have went in the draft with Joe Burrow would have been drafted before him still.
Mm-hmm.
But because he didn't go in the draft, everybody, I don't think they were wrong for doing so, assumed that he was going to be the best quarterback this year and drafted, number one. But after Justin Fields did what he did against Clemson, a lot of people are thinking differently. And I'm one of them. you know, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a bad quarterback. I think he's going to be excellent. But I think we need to start putting respect on Justin Fields' name when we talk about the best quarterbacks in college football and the prospect of how they will do at the next level. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the only one. I don't think he's like the only shoe in to be great. I think Justin Fields is there too, and I think Justin Fields may be better. I don't know. What's your thoughts, man?
It's hard for me to say. I mean, to be honest with you, I got 6 games, 7 games out of Justin Fields this year. Um, Couple of years. His body of work is great to me, just as good as Trevor Lawrence. My thing is, it's hard to evaluate them because they're two completely different style quarterbacks. So I don't look at one of them. I think they're both really good. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't think, people talking about who should go number one, who should go number two. I don't think you go wrong either way. It's just a matter of what your team needs, what you want, how are you trying to build that team as far as how you want your offense to run. And because let's be honest about it, Trevor Lawrence got legs too. He can move, he can run the ball a little bit. So as far as that, he is mobile too. He's not like a stand in the pocket type of quarterback. And he's big. Justin Fields, on the other hand, I think he's a lot faster. I think he's a lot more mobile. I think intelligence-wise, I think he makes better decisions from what I've seen on film. He's more accurate. Um, but to say that you could go wrong going with either one of them, I think would be a bad would be doing an injustice to both kids because I think they're both great. I think they both can be really really good. Have I seen Trevor Lawrence get outplayed a couple of times by very good quarterbacks? Yeah, the two quarterbacks that we're talking about that he got outplayed by? The number one overall pick last year who came in the NFL and was setting off rookie records. It looked like he was going to shatter every quarterback rookie record coming into the NFL. And secondly, we talking about arguably, if he don't go first, the number 2 overall pick in the draft this year. So it's not like he got outdueled by scrubs. He got outdueled by people that are arguably better than him. And I mean, there's no knock to him. I don't think by saying Justin Fields may be a little bit better than you is saying that he's bad. Justin Fields is just that good. So with that being said, I think both of them are great quarterbacks. But if you ask me as a GM, who am I drafting? I'm probably drafting Justin Fields.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm looking at is Not necessarily the fact that he was outplayed by Joe Burrow and now this year outplayed by Justin Fields, but I'm looking at those two defenses. LSU probably the closest thing to an NFL defense that you have in college, or one of the closest things. You know, Alabama's definitely as always there, and Ohio State defense was pretty tough as well. Trevor Lawrence, you know, I mean, Clemson is a great team. They stacked. You know, they very similar to Alabama, but I think Alabama edges them just a little bit when it comes to, you know, the recruitment process year in year out. But what I noticed is, but one of the things about Clemson is they don't really play a lot of tough teams throughout the year.
Right.
Alabama's battle tested, so you know a team like Alabama, they you know they ready. But Ohio State is a pretty good team on both sides of the ball. I don't think Clemson had played a team like that. Notre Dame was good when it came to their their national statistics, but Notre Dame didn't play a lot of really good teams either. So the fact that they were like one of the top defenses statistically is a little misleading because it's not like they were playing teams that could just move the ball down the field at will. And when
Right.
they played Clemson, Clemson was able to move the ball on them. So Notre Dame defense wasn't great, but they did play a good against a good defense in Ohio State. Trevor Lawrence did deliver. Did play against a good defense in LSU. Trevor Lawrence didn't deliver. That is what is kind of making me second guess whether he should be the top quarterback taken. Doesn't seem to be able to deliver in the highest pressure situations. And how is that going to translate when he gets to the league? Because every game is tough. I mean, it's against a tough defense when you talk about professionals,
Yeah.
you know. So just something to think about, I mean, because it is definitely is definitely a piece of data that we can look to when it comes to Trevor Lawrence and his performance in high pressure situations. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't knock Trevor Lawrence for that. I think he played two really, really good defenses, but I also know he won a national championship his sophomore year. So in another high pressure situation, he came out on top. So I've seen him succeed. I've seen him fail. So is that going to translate to the next level? That's the biggest question. And for me, watching both of their games, I think both of their games, the way the NFL is transverts, converts to the next level. My biggest thing, if anything, as far as why I would, and this is my biggest reason as to why I would take Justin Fields over Trevor Lawrence, expectation. I think drafting Trevor Lawrence versus Justin Fields, the expectations are already high for Trevor Lawrence coming out to be a great quarterback. He's supposed to be this. He's supposed to be like that. A la kind of Andrew Luck. We see where he's at now. Those kind of expectations and lofty goals haven't been put on Justin Fields, and he's just as
If
good, if
if
not
he
better.
if he's the number one pick, it will be.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
They've been hyping him up for 2 or 3 years.
yeah.
He gonna be the number one pick. So you come into the league, even if let's just say they both start as rookies. Do you think who you think will get crucified more for playing terrible?
Well, I do just on face value. You're right. I think it'd be Trevor Lawrence.
And that's just and with and that's what I believe, and that's one of the only reasons I think both of them are going to be good. But I think the expectations, not saying the expectations for Justin Fields won't be high, but for Trevor Lawrence, they're already there.
Yeah.
They've been there for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I think that that's a good point, but I do think that Justin Fields, because he's put himself, well, I'm not gonna say because he's not because he put himself, but because he is in this conversation now, I don't think that the expectations are going to be more on Trevor Lawrence because they've been there longer. I think that the expectations are going to be just as high if Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are both drafted right behind each other. Like if they're like if Trevor Lawrence is drafted first and Justin Fields drops to like number 15 or something like that, no, I don't feel like that. But if they're like 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, like they're right there, both in that top five, right behind each other, they're gonna be linked together their entire careers. you know, and
Right.
that's just how it always happens. Like you don't usually hear people talking about the quarterbacks drafted later in the first round. You know, you hear about those quarterbacks. They talk about them together when they're drafted in the right there at the top of the rounds. Like people are talking about um Tua and Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow because they were all drafted in the first 10 picks. Like
Hmm.
one, 5, and 7, you know? And so that's just, even we could look back to Roethlisberger and Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning, they were all drafted in the top 10 picks,
Hmm.
So I think that matters when it comes to Justin Fields' expectations because Trevor Lawrence is going to go in the top of the draft. He's a good quarterback and he has all the tools that you need for a quarterback, which most quarterbacks don't have coming out of college. He's been had them, which is why people say he's the highest prospect since like Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. But if Justin Fields gets drafted that high, he will have those same expectations. I don't think people are going to look at like Dwayne Haskins. The reason why Dwayne Haskins has high expectations put on him is because the Redskins with the Washington football team took him so high. He
Right.
clearly should not have been taken that high. He,
Right.
he clearly shouldn't have been. But because he was, those expectations got put on him to perform. If he was
Right.
drafted in the second round or late first round, he wouldn't have those expectations. He probably would have had a longer leash to be in the on that
To be
team.
terrible.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, um, looking forward to that. Can't wait to see it Monday on ABC. Tune in to the College Football National Championship. Let's move on to NFL. So we just finished the last week of the NFL season, heading into the playoffs, new format and everything. Got that extra game. In this season, only one team has a bye. In the AFC, it is of course the Chiefs. In the NFC, it is the Green Bay Packers. But let's talk playoffs, man. So let's just shoot straight to it. NFC, AFC, who coming out of both?
For me, first and foremost, I will say I love this new playoff format.
Yeah,
I
I
think
do
it makes
too.
the NFL more competitive. I think it gives teams a little bit more hope for those for that last excuse me for the last wild card spot. I absolutely love it. Just to put that out there. But for me, AFC I think is almost 99% of people are gonna say what I'm gonna say, and that's gonna be the Kansas City Chiefs. I just don't see nobody taking them down. I don't see nobody stopping them. I don't see any. I haven't seen a defense yet that I can say is good enough to contain them or stop them when it matters. Not one. It's not even close. As far as the NFC, it's kind of tough for me. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like if the Saints are at full strength, truly at full strength, and come to play,
Yeah.
the Vikings not in the playoffs this year. Saints might actually have a chance to get there. No, but no, but with all seriousness, I think that I take the
I
Saints as
I
my
don't
NFC
I don't
team.
I don't appreciate how you said that. I don't appreciate you bringing the Vikings into the fold like that. It wasn't just the Vikings, the Rams. They did a number on us too,
Yeah,
But
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 the
I'm let's just
you
move
know how
on.
it go. You
Move
know
on.
how
Let's
it
just
go.
move on. Yeah, but no, I hear you. I hear you, and I have to agree with you when you say that the Chiefs are probably going to be the team that nobody can beat them. But I'm going to go with a different pick. I'm going to go with the Bills.
I knew. I kind of felt that.
And let me tell you why. The Chiefs are a better team, but the Bills are right behind them. They didn't just play well this year, they got better every week. They're
Yeah,
at a point right now where they look unstoppable. They look completely unstoppable.
yeah, and they're
And
healthy.
they're healthy. They got two good backs. They got three good receivers. Four if you count Gabriel, their rookie, and he's a good receiver. He's been filling in for John Brown. They just got John Brown back. They got a good defense, one of the top cornerbacks in the league. They actually got a better defense than the Chiefs. Just to be completely honest with you, they got a better
Right,
defense.
they do.
So it's like if Josh Allen is on his game, he's right up there with Mahomes as far as just performance. Mahomes is a better quarterback. I'm not gonna say that Josh Allen is just as good as Mahomes, but Josh Allen is really good,
Right,
and he's a better runner. He's
right,
harder to defend when it comes to both the pass and run because while Mahomes can get away and he can move, you never worried about him running the ball 40 yards. Josh Allen would take off and take it to the house.
right.
So man, I think I really hope we see them two in the AFC Championship. I hope nothing happens to Buffalo to where they falter and have a misstep. I want to see that game,
Right.
you know. But Chiefs, I think Chiefs should win, but I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna say the Bills gonna win the AFC, and I'm with you with the Saints. I mean, I try to be objective, and I feel like I am being objective. But if I'm not, so what? I'm saying the Saints, and the Saints have played excellent football through. I think out of the good teams, not a team like the 49ers. They clearly had the worst luck this year. And then you have some other teams like Dallas. They had some luck too, some bad luck when it came to injuries. When you talk about the good teams, the Saints have had the worst luck, and they have still been winning. Haven't had our number one receiver who's a top five, arguably for some people, top, two or three receiver. Our quarterback has been out. We've had several injuries on defense throughout the different games. Um, we got our running back on the COVID list. Is he gonna be ready for this week? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we are finally we went through a lot and we still have been able to win. If we're healthy, finally, we're healthy. I put us against I give us a win against everybody in NFC.
There's
Even if
not
we
a
have to
team in
play
the
Green Bay,
NFC.
even if we have to play Green Bay again.
They're not better than
Um,
y'all.
so I say Bills, Saints in the Super Bowl. Um, and of course, I'm gonna pick my Saints to win. So I'm gonna say it's a black and gold Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah, I will say the Bills is kind of a wild card for me, definitely. But I think the Saints overall has the overall best team in the NFL this year. Offensively,
Yeah.
defensively, defensive line, front seven, versus back seven. I don't see a team overall that's better than the Saints when they're at complete full strength. With that being said, I mean, even me, I'm a little biased. It's like a secondary team for me. I'm a Niner all day, but I
Yeah.
root for the home team when I have that opportunity. So, I'm pulling for the Saints to win the Super Bowl this year.
Well,
And
good.
I can see it happening with Drew Brees going out with the Super Bowl as he retires.
That would be a great ending to a wonderful career, and I actually hope that's how it goes because I don't think Drew Brees is coming back next year. I think he's
Yeah,
done.
he's not. He's
I
not.
think he's done. I
Those
think
reports
he
are not false.
wants. Yeah, I think he wants to play, but I think he just knows that his time is done. It's time to give up the keys to the car. And I don't know who that person is going to be taking the keys. I'm not sold that it's Taysom Hill. I'm not sold on Sean Payton saying, "Hey, we are ready to give you this team." I'm just
No,
not.
no.
Um, I think the sample that he got from Taysom Hill this season was enough for him to really say yay or nay. I believe this is what I believe. I know a lot of people believe that the reason why Jameis Winston didn't get that chance is because Jameis Winston is not good. I don't believe that. I believe that Sean Payton wanted to see what Taysom. I believe Sean Payton knew we could win with Taysom Hill. He knew he could call plays and change the game plan to win. I believe he wanted to see what Taysom Hill could do as a starting quarterback because he knows he's going to have to make a decision on what he's going to do with the future of this team at that position at the end of this year, going into next year.
Right.
And I believe he got enough evidence that Taysom Hill may not be that person. Just because
Yeah,
we
I think
paid him, that don't mean that we paid him to be the quarterback of the future. He
right.
is very valuable to our team. He is a
Hmm.
very integral part of our offense. And whatever quarterback comes into the fold, they're going to share that backfield with him on those 3 or 4 or 5 plays a game where he's lined up in the wildcat at the 1 yard line or sometimes just in the general. He's going to do that with whoever comes. But I
Right.
do believe that we will have a different quarterback in that backfield next year, not named Taysom Hill or Drew Brees.
Oh, I definitely agree. I agree with that 100%. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah. Um, on to we don't have a lot of basketball, but I do want to I do want to jump in and say something about basketball. We're gonna talk more about basketball, later, because this is just the beginning of the season, and we still in the football season. But Brooklyn ain't gonna win the East. All y'all people that was talking about how Brooklyn was gonna be the best team in the East. That's not what's gonna happen. I just
No,
want to throw that out there. We can talk more about it in depth, later when you guys start to see the evidence that they are okay. But they're not
they
gonna
don't
win.
play no defense.
No defense. None. None at all.
It don't
Um,
matter if you can score 125 if your opponent can score 140.
hell, if they can score 126, shit.
Right. So I mean,
you know. But we gonna get into the in-depth conversations about that at a later date. Who holding this L for you this week, man?
man, I got a whole bunch of them. But I'm gonna go ahead and whew, man, it's a lot of picks. It's a lot of picks. Man, there's so many L's to go around. But you know what? I'm gonna let you have a juicy one. I'm gonna get an L
I don't
this
know which
week.
one you're talking about. So,
Oh,
but
yo, you know which one I'm talking about. I'm gonna let
oh,
you have that one. But you know which one I'm talking about. But I'm gonna give my L to Dwayne Haskins. I feel like it need to be given, man. Bro. First of all, you trash. You've been playing like trash. They demote you. They decide that they are going to bring you up. They are going to give you another opportunity. You know what? We're going to give them another opportunity. We're going to see if, playing a few weeks behind Alex Smith, we're going to see just maybe he learned something. And you break COVID protocol first. That's first. Knowing you're going to be starting that week. Then you backdoor and you start and you look worse than Nathan Peterman. Anybody as an NFL starting quarterback that looks worse than Nathan Peterman deserves an L. So Dwayne, take the L this week, hold it, put it in your pocket, sit on it, brew on it, do better.
yeah, that was a very clear L he needs to hold. I do hope that boy get an opportunity because I think every quarterback, every player in the NFL deserves a second chance, and I definitely hope he gets one. But he definitely deserved what happened to him. He definitely needs to hold that L, and hopefully he learns from it. But I'm gonna have to go to Doug Peterson. I'm gonna have to go to the Philadelphia
Oh,
Eagles.
that's a good one. Oh,
Uh,
that's a good one.
I really don't know what you was talking about when you said the obvious one, but you can tell us when I finish. But I want to know what you're talking about because I don't know. But I'm gonna let Doug Peterson hold the L because if you wanted to lose the game, Doug Peterson, then just start all the second string players. Just don't start Jalen Hurts. Fake a injury report. Say he's hurting, he's not gonna play this last game. You wanna lose the game because you want to move from what is it, 9 to 6 in the draft. Then just don't play him. Don't the football players have pride.
Right.
They were out there playing their ass off. They wanted to win that game. They weren't playing to get a pick from 9 to 6. Clearly, y'all didn't have a conversation about that. That's something that you wanted to do. Y'all didn't talk about that. So why have these men out here busting their ass playing in a meaningless game for you, meaningless, to pull them out when to pull out the players who make the most difference, to make the impact in the game, to possibly win because you want to lose. You want to see what you got, huh? You want to see what you got in those other players, right? Bullshit. If I was a Giants fan, I mean a Giants. If I wanted, if I'm an NFL player playing on the New York Giants, we play the Redskins next year. We fighting. We fighting. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't put all the blame on the Eagles for the Giants not making it. You got to put some of the blame on yourself if you a Giants football player because you always control whether you make the playoffs or not. You should have played better during the season. You never want to leave it to another team to decide your fate. hands down. That's it. But this is still a game, okay? This is still a job. Teams play spoiler all the time. I heard
Right.
somebody say, "Well, why you not mad at Ben Roethlisberger? Because Cleveland, they didn't they played against Cleveland. That's different. Like I said, they ruled Ben Roethlisberger out from the very beginning, and the
Right.
people that was on the field, they played to the very end and tried to win that game. They didn't. Mike Tomlin didn't pull out Claypool and Deontay Johnson and James Conner players at the end to try to lose. No, they played all the way through. So that's what Doug Peterson should have did. He should have kept Jalen Hurts out the game, kept the other players out the game, and just let them play with who was going to play and see what would happen.
I agree.
So Doug Peterson, you hold this L, you sorry son of a. Anyways, so who are you talking about, man? I'm curious. What L you was talking about? The obvious one.
You've known me long enough, clearly, to know what the answer to that question is.
I don't, man. I'm really I don't know what you're talking about.
Every officer that works at the nation's capital.
Oh, okay. I kind of thought about that, but I was like, nah, he probably gonna keep it with sports. But
No. There's some things you have to bring to light, and you have to bring out the obvious.
yeah.
And what we saw, everybody, every single person affiliated, not only the people going in, but the people who were defending it, and everybody affiliated with that. Hold it. Hold the L. You need to take the L. You really need to take the L, flip it upside down, stick it up somewhere I don't want to say, and go have a come to Jesus with yourself in a room in the dark and think about what you really. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say nothing about that.
Yeah, no, because you're too serious.
Only because exactly. It's like I have so many strong feelings about that. And I do another podcast, and that podcast is for that kind of stuff. I'm definitely gonna get my opinion out, and say what I feel about it. But everything you say, I concur. I agree with 100%.
Yeah, and like I say, ours is more of a joke, with the whole L, but you also want to bring light to real situations. So, with that being said, it is all in fun and games. The reality of it is, we always gonna preach love on this show. Not hate. So, no matter who, what, where, it's all fun and games when we talk about whatever we talk about. But, everybody needs to just realize, that the things that are going on are not okay. And, that's one of the things that I want to make sure we bring to light and just express to everyone.
I agree with you. Very well said. Couldn't have said it any better, man. But that's all we got. It is a shorter show. Our show is going to be a little bit more between 30 and 45 minutes. We go, oh, yeah, I do want to say this. So I know we've been doing the daily fantasy shows. We didn't talk about this at the beginning, so let me go ahead and give it to you now. We've been doing daily fantasy, and me and Lonnie, we had a conversation, and we were like, you know what? We're going to change the format of our show. We started off talking about sports and topics and just what's the juicy topics of sports. We went into daily fantasy. We dipped our toe in, and while we love daily fantasy, we realized what we want to do more of is talk about sports in general. So we're going to go back to our regular format. It's not a daily fantasy show. So when you listen to this, you don't hear the DFS. We are sorry, but for those that like that raw sports perspective, we are going to be giving you that again. So stay tuned. This is going to be a great year. We appreciate you for listening. Please like, follow, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that's all we got for today. You got anything, man? Anything else before we get out of here?
Not a whole lot. I will add that if you do have DFS questions, don't hesitate to comment under our pages. Don't hesitate to email us. We will still be willing to answer DFS questions if you have those for us. It's just not something that we'll touch on every day. But feel free if you have any questions to hit us up. We will definitely respond and try to get back to you as soon as we can.
Yes. So that's all we got. I am Capel.
And I'm Lonnie.
I forgot my name. You see that?
Yeah.
This is old. This is old as hell. And we out, y'all.
We out. Peace.